Hi you all, it is Dreamy. Happy New Year. Today we're going to be doing a video that is actually my most viewed video from about 2 years ago on tips and ways to be successful as a cam model. So I didn't really watch that other video, so I'm not entirely sure what I said, but if I repeat some things, I apologize, but also just know if I'm still repeating and doing these things from 2 years ago, it's obviously something important that I continue to do because I see success from it. Yeah, that's basically what we're going to do. Okay, so tip number one, and I get a lot of messages about this, and I kind of want to talk about it. I get a lot of messages about what do you do when to get viewers in, how do you pass the time when you're first starting out. And I think the most important thing is to figure out what you want out of camming. Are you looking to build a following and subscribers and a clientele? Are you wanting to get into sex work? Are you looking for just some quick money and some passive income while you pursue other things in your life, and you're wanting this to kind of help you get by when it comes to financial needs? So those are very important things that you need to ask yourself, and when you're choosing to go onto this path. I will also say that you need to have a realistic outcome. If you are first starting out and you have 0 followers, you're just a beginner, it's going to take a little bit for you to grow. So if you're hey, why didn't I make, I streamed 6 hours yesterday, why didn't I make a couple $100? Well, it's because you're new. And some people can get really lucky and log on to camming and they make a couple $100 their first night, and sometimes you may only have 5 to 10 viewers if you're lucky again to have 5 to 10 viewers in your room. So it is going to start off slow. You are building something. So that's why I think the best way to always go into any streaming, even if you're not looking to stream on an adult site, even if you're looking at Twitch or YouTube, I think the best way to approach it is for something that's fun and something that is just going to be hey, I'm gonna put in a few hours, and if I make some money, that's great. And if I don't, well, then I at least invested some time into it. I got some new eyes on me. I got a few followers, and maybe next time those people will come back and have tokens to be able to invest in me. So if you're looking for just very quick cash, I don't know how realistic that's going to be for all of you all, but if you're hey, I'm kind of just, I think it will be a fun thing to do, and whatever money comes to me, and I'm just going to show up when I have the time and feel like it and just have fun during it, I think that's going to be your most successful route, because there's no expectation and there's going to be not much disappointment if the outcome that you're wanting doesn't happen. Yeah, and I also think that it just keeps a more positive outlook on it. That way you don't get disappointed the next time you stream. There's not any negative association with it where it's well, I streamed 6 hours the other day and I made no money and it's probably going to happen tonight. Spiritual me is very into words or spells, so if that's what you think, that's possibly what's going to happen. But if you're just logging on and being hey, I have a few hours tonight, I feel like streaming, I think it'll be fun, I think that type of energy is really going to just keep everything positive and keep you wanting to come back to it. Even if you're not the most consistent at the beginning, at least when you do come on, you're there with the intention to have a good time, and whatever flows to you, flows to you. And also just a quick question and answer when it comes to, well, what do you do when it's slow? I say do whatever you want. If you like to draw and color, put on a cute top. If you want to be naked, be naked. If you just got some new lingerie, put on your lingerie, and draw, engage with the people who are wanting to talk to you in your room. If you want to get up and dance, get up and dance. There's going to be certain things where if I want to paint that day camming, because that's what I just feel like doing, but I need to put in hours working, sometimes I make quite a bit of money and sometimes I don't. And that's even same for when I have on some lingerie and I'm dancing around. Are the odds higher that I'm probably going to make more money when I'm dancing around in some lingerie? Yes. So if your intention is to like, hey, I really want this to help support me and pay some bills, then maybe you need to be putting in the work of getting up, dancing, having that lingerie, or even just like some undies and a bralette, and being a little bit more sexual with your streams. But if you're just like, hey, I want to have fun and I'm gonna get on and I'm going to dress what's comfortable for me and I'm going to draw and engage with people, like, you can still make the same amount of money. But yeah, I think you should do it whatever you want. If you're cooking dinner that night and you're like, hey, I want to stream tonight, let me do like a cooking stream, go ahead and do a cooking stream. Do whatever makes you happy. I think that is going to be the best when it comes to how you want to utilize your time. Just ask yourself what you feel up to and go for it. Okay, tip number 2, be consistent in whatever works for you. So again, if you are doing this as a side job and some passive income and it only works for you to stream 2 to 3 hours on your days off, then just do that. If you're looking to actually get into this type of work, then maybe you need to put in a few hours a couple times a week. Then make sure that you're just at least hitting that. I would say to stream at least more than 2 to 3 hours. I think 3 hours is like a perfect like minimum. 2 is like the very minimum. It's kind of hard for people to catch you if you're only on for an hour. But again, if this is just a passive income and you're just like, well, Riri, I only have an hour, then just only put in an hour, Yeah, I would just say be consistent in whatever you're doing. And when you do show up, try to show up for 2 hours, 3 hours, even if it's slow. Like I said, I think when it comes to things being slow and you feeling like your time is wasted, that's why I'm like, do whatever you feel like doing in that stream that makes you still feel like you're doing stuff. Does that make sense? Like, if it's a slow stream for me and my house is a mess, then I will just prop the camera up and start picking up and cleaning. And like, honestly, not to generalize or stigmatize the idea of like a woman, I guess, but some guys really like to see a pretty woman walking around cleaning the house or like being in the kitchen, And it's like things that I have to do anyway because I'm single and only things are only going to happen if I take care of them. But some people are going to be into that. So I wouldn't overthink it too much. Like, if you feel like your time's being wasted and things are really slow, then do the things that you need to do around the house while you're streaming it, It'll be fine. Either way, it's going to be slow anyway. And if not, maybe you being up and doing stuff will bring in more people and maybe you'll actually be surprised on how much money you make off of it. Tip number 3 is going to be have an OnlyFans or a Fansly. And if you're like, Riri, absolutely not. Like, I don't want an OnlyFans or a Fansly. I don't want to have to worry about that. Totally fine. I would at least upload content or pictures onto the cam site if it allows you. I think that whatever the cam site allows when it comes to you selling stuff when you're not online, you should fully utilize it, because why not? There's a lot of time where I can't stream because it's the holidays or I'm just a little burnt out and I need to take a few days off, and you would be surprised how when you're regularly streaming and you create more of a fan base, how many people will be like, damn, I need to see Riri, and they'll go to your page and purchase your content that's already posted. And girl, then you're just making money in your sleep, then you're just making money while you're relaxing on your day off, and it's kind of like, why not? And I just think that especially if you're looking to create more of a fan base and want to grow some type of community off of it, driving traffic to another site that allows you to not only diversify your income, but also just have an alternative way for people to have access to you is something that I wouldn't sleep on. Even if you just have a free OnlyFans and you're like, I can't invest that much time to it, but at least I can sell a few pictures that I take throughout the day that might be a little naughty, and you can sell them in some packages, like, you know, hey, here are the photos that I posted today, and you can lock those items, and people who followed you from your campsite to your OnlyFans or Fansly can purchase it, and then you're making a little bit more extra income. Again, that is going to be even more passive income that is coming towards you, because that's going to be income that is coming in when you're just living your life, and these people are intrigued by you and interested in you, and they want to see more of you, and it gives them an easy, accessible way to do that. I don't know what tip number we're on. So the next tip I have is watch and see what other models are doing. And this is great even if you have OnlyFans or Fansly, by purchasing other models, subscribing to their pages and seeing what they're doing, how they're running their business, what you like, what you don't like, to really take this back to camming when it comes also to, like, I don't know what to do when it's slow. How are you filling your time? Well, you can go watch and see what other models are doing. Some models are naked their whole show. If you don't feel comfortable with that, maybe you go and see what models are doing that aren't naked their whole show. See how much their tip menus are and how much they're charging. See the way that they're engaging with their viewers and what type of things that they offer in their fan clubs. Fan clubs is another thing that you can do. I should do a show on that. I don't utilize it too much, but I can talk about it in a different video if that's what you like. You can comment down below if you want me to talk about fan clubs. Yeah, just see and look at what other models are doing and just get inspired off of them. You know, like, I wouldn't like take their vibe, you know, don't like plagiarize what they're doing, but yeah, definitely be like, oh, I like that, let me see if that would work for me and I can utilize off of that. And if you like the way that their page is designed, you know, like, hey, I like that, like, maybe I can make it into my own thing by taking a little bit of this and taking a little bit of that, and also just putting my own twist on it. So I love seeing what other models are doing and what they're talking about. I love seeing even like just like the angles in which they choose to stream. And yeah, and I would also too check out, like, especially like if you are a Black person, go to the Ebony hashtag and see what other Black content creators are doing, well, other Black sex workers are doing. So yeah, I'm always looking on the Ebony hashtag. I love to see what other Black sex workers are doing when it comes to getting viewers in their room and the type of things that they're doing to get that type of viewership. So that's just an example, but you can kind of like see where I'm going when it comes to, like, if you're curvy, if you're a bigger person, if you're trans, if you're a couple, like, definitely look at those categories and see, you know, the people who have high views and see what they're doing. But don't let the views like get too much to you, because like there are a lot of people who have thousands of viewers in their room and they're making the same amount of money as I'm bringing in with only like 200 to 400 sometime viewers. So don't let the amount of people that are in someone's room determine the type of success that they're having, because they could have a lot of viewers and still be bringing in the same amount of tokens as you. There are people who are doing, you know, full penetration, they're fully naked, they have thousands of viewers in their room, and you could be fully clothed painting on stream and still be making the same amount of tokens, if not more sometimes. So don't let the viewership like discourage you in any way, because what really matters is the quality of the viewers in your room who are active buyers and active tippers. So, but sometimes the people who are not saying anything or may not be able to purchase tokens, they could be the people I find are the people who are really commenting and engaging with my social media. So they may not be able to support me in tokens on, Chatterbait or whatever streaming platform you're on, but they are following me on all my social medias and commenting and kind of like gassing and hyping me up. So, and also time is so precious. So even if someone is just sitting in your room the full 6 hours that you're streaming, like, I think that's definitely something to be grateful for. All right, the next tip is going to be utilize the bots, the games, the tip menus the tip menu options are bots, but if you have info and things that you want to get out to when it comes to like, hey, this is where you can find me when I'm not streaming, and this is my OnlyFans or my Fansly, this is my tip menu, and instead of just always having to repeat that and say that and tell people, which is still a good thing to do, it is going to be great to go down and utilize those bots, get familiar with them, play around with them, and have everything that you want people to know about you rotating in your room, of like where to find you, what your tip menu is. If you have a premium Snapchat and you want to like sell, get people onto your premium Snapchat, you can advertise for that. And with those bots, you can have them rotating every minute, every 5 minutes. So everyone who's in your room has all this info that is getting fed to them regularly, and it takes a lot of that like work off of you. The next tip is to, again, do whatever's comfortable for you, but also don't be like too comfortable that you're not willing to try new things. Like, I think privates are very intimidating to some people. I have a whole video on that on my page on like what to do in a private, and I literally do it. Like, I show you exactly what I do when it comes to stripping, like through a whole 10-minute private. So you can go check that out if you're curious. But I think it's like a lot of fun to try, and I think all just good open communication too. Like, I don't really like to go to privates without talking to that person first, unless they're regular and I know what they want to do. But if you're new to camming and you're new to doing privates, like, just say that. Be like, hey, I'm just gonna let you know this is a little intimidating for me. I'm not fully sure what to do in a private, not that confident in it. So like, what would you like to see me do? Like, what are you expecting? Like, what would you like to see? And if they're like, oh, well, I would just love, like, most of the time they'll be like, literally anything. I just like you and I want to see you do anything. But if they're like, oh, I really want to see you twerk and maybe some like masturbating and a BJ, so at least you have an idea. Be like, okay, well, I can, like, if it's going to be a 10-minute, I have a 10-minute minimum on my private, so I'm going to be there for 10 minutes no matter what. I'm getting paid for 10 minutes no matter what. But you'd be like, okay, well, I can do a little strip tease, and then I can, in your head, you can kind of like path it out, like, all right, I'm going to do a little strip tease for this person, and then I'll start twerking for like a minute or two, and then I'll go ahead and like suck the BJ for 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and end it with me like playing with myself. And then that can kind of give you a little bit more confidence and a little bit of like a guideline of what you want. If they don't specifically ask for it, I won't do penetration unless they specifically ask for it. I'll just live out that private doing, masturbating, dirty talk, BJ, strip tease, twerking, spanking, and if like if I'm doing all of that and they're like, oh my gosh, like, can you like go ahead and do penetration now, then I will. But also, like, if I'm on my cycle and someone wants to go to private, like, I do not do penetration on my private, and no, I will not make the token price or the private price cheaper. Like, I am not going to charge less because I'm a woman and this happens naturally to me. Like, if anything, I should be paid more because of what I'm going through right now. So yeah, establish your boundaries, just be upfront, communicate, But I do encourage you to, if you're just intimidated and just unfamiliar, I do encourage you to put yourself out there and try new things, because these are people who are like you, and they want to, have this experience with you. And if anything, it's just going to be fun, and they're going to like the genuineness of it. I can highly guarantee that they will come back. Plus, you learn a lot about yourself, and you get really comfortable with your sexuality, which when it comes to sex in real life can only ever make things better. That is all I have. If you have any questions, you can comment them down below. I always like the comment section to be almost like a forum if I'm talking about things. If you feel like I missed out on something, if you're a cam model and you are like, oh no girl, this has really worked for me, I want to hear it. Comment it down below. Other people can go and comment down below. That goes with any of my videos. If you all have tips, tricks, and you want to share, let us know. Alright, don't gatekeep. Gatekeep if you want, I don't care. Anyway, love you all. I hope that you have had a beautiful holiday season and a happy new year. I hope that all your goals, your wishes, your manifestations come true this year. I wish you a lot of wealth and just not only health and energy and money, but just in yourself, in your being. So, yeah. Okay. Love you. Bye.